Do not look at the clock in the white room. I found the ad buried 3 pages deep on a job board no one uses anymore. It read, "Easy work. Overnight stay. $2,000 for 1 shift. Rules will be provided. Must have a calm disposition." There was no contact number, no company name, just a location and a time, 9 p.m., Friday, building before, abandoned labs industrial park. The money was too good, and I was too broke. I didn't ask questions. When I arrived, the building looked out of time. Not old or broken, just timeless. White concrete walls, featureless steel door. No windows. No signs. Just a keypad and a red sticker with the number 3 on it. I typed in the code I was emailed, 1093, and the door opened with a sigh, like it didn't want to let me in. Inside was a white room. Not painted white. I mean white. Everything. The floor, walls, ceiling, the chair in the middle, the table beside it, the ceiling fan, even the outlet covers. The light was weirdly soft, like a dentist's office on lithium. The only things that weren't white were the clock on the wall, black, with no brand name, ticking audibly, and the envelope on the table. I sat down, opened the envelope, and read the rules. Rules for the white room: you must obey all. 1. You must stay in the chair from 9:15 p.m. to 5:15 a.m. Do not leave for any reason. 2. There will be no clocks in this room. This was already a lie, the black clock was ticking away on the wall. 3. If you hear footsteps above you, stay perfectly still. They will pass. 4. If the fan stops spinning, close your eyes and count to 60. Do not open them early. 5. Do not look at the clock. Ever. Not even once. 6. If someone enters the room and looks like you, speak to them until they cry. Then stop speaking. 7. If the lights turn blue, whisper the word Father until they return to white. 8. If it's exactly 3:33 a.m. and you hear tapping on the floor, ignore it. That is not part of your shift. 9. If you break any rule, remain calm. Accept what comes. My laugh came out louder than I meant. This had to be some kind of performance art piece. Maybe an experiment. I was the rat, and this was their sterile maze. Still, $2,000 was $2,000. The clock said 9:14. I sat down. The first hour was boring. I stared at the table, twitched at the creak of the chair, and occasionally glanced at the floor. But around 10:30 p.m., I heard footsteps above me. Not normal steps, not walking. Just one footstep every 7 or 8 seconds. Measured. Deliberate. Like someone was stalking a glass ceiling. I sat still. My breath lodged itself somewhere between my lungs and throat. After maybe 2 minutes, the footsteps faded. I let out a sigh. Then I remembered Rule 3 and nearly vomited. I had almost shifted in my seat. Sometime later, maybe around midnight, the fan stopped. Not slowed, stopped, like someone had pulled a plug. I froze. Then remembered Rule 4, close your eyes. Count to 60. I did. But counting seconds with adrenaline in your bloodstream is a joke. Your brain either rushes or lags. Around what I thought was 44, I heard a soft hum. It sounded like a woman's voice saying something under her breath. Then, another voice, lower, closer. At 60, I opened my eyes. The fan was spinning again. The room was the same. But the chair I sat in had moved. Just a few inches, but closer to the table. I hadn't moved. I'm sure of it. That's when I made the mistake. I looked at the clock. 1:19 a.m. But the moment my eyes met the glass, I saw something behind the reflection, like a face pressed to the inside of the clock, screaming in silence. I blinked, and it was gone. But the ticking changed. It was faster now. Way too fast. Tick 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 tick. I stood up. A white wall slammed in front of me. I hadn't even made it a step from the chair. The room had reoriented. Every direction looked the same, but the layout had moved. And the ticking wouldn't stop. A door opened behind me. I turned and saw myself walk in. But not quite me. The smile was too wide. The clothes were mine but mirrored, like a reflection walking backward. It sat down across from me and stared. I remembered Rule 6, speak to it until it cries. Then stop. So I talked. I talked about my mother. My dog. The time I nearly drowned in a lake. I told the thing everything. Its face didn't change. Then, somewhere around the part where I talked about my sister's car accident, It began to cry. Silently. Just tears, long and fast, like it had waited years. I stopped talking. It vanished. The lights turned blue at 3 a.m. I whispered "Father" over and over until the light went white. At 3:33 a.m., there was tapping. I ignored it. But each tap got closer. And closer. Until it sounded like it was coming from inside my skull. But I didn't move. At 5:15 a.m. exactly, the clock shattered. It didn't fall. It didn't break. It imploded. The fan stopped. The door opened. And the white room went black. I don't remember getting home. The money was in my account the next morning. Exactly $2,000. I got another email today. A new location. New time. No mention of what happened last time. Just a single line. "You followed the rules. Would you like to go again?" I don't know if I said yes. But I got another envelope in the mail. It had new rules. And this time, there was no chair. The second room was not white. It was a colorless gray, like TV static given solid form, dull, absorbing light instead of reflecting it. The floor felt soft, almost like kneeling on memory foam, except it gave off a subtle pulse beneath my feet, like something under it was breathing. No chair. No table. No clock. No envelope. Just me and the door that sealed shut behind me with the sound of concrete cracking. I thought about the first room and how sterile it had been, like an operating theater for the soul. This one was raw. It felt lived in, or more accurately, died in. The air was warm and wet, like breath exhaled from rotting lungs. And there was a smell. Not decay, something worse. A sweet, syrupy wrongness, like sugar poured over spoiled meat. I called out, "I'm here." Maybe someone would hear me. Maybe I was supposed to announce myself. The room listened. It heard me. And then it answered. The walls began to shiver. That's the only word I can use. They rippled, like water touched by wind. A soft vibration ran through the floor, and something began to press outward from inside the walls. It wasn't trying to break through, it was studying me, from the other side of the concrete skin membrane. It traced the shape of a face against the wall, long and narrow, like it was drawn by someone who had only ever heard about humans but never actually seen one. I backed away. The wall face opened its mouth, impossibly wide, jaw unhinging like a snake. It whispered, but the sound came from inside my head, not my ears. "You're not sitting. You're not still. You shouldn't have come back." I didn't reply. I couldn't. I turned and tried the door. It was gone. Not shut. Not locked. Gone. The wall where it once stood was now seamless. Something began to fall from the ceiling. At first, I thought it was water. Then I saw the strands. Fine, black hair. Long and glistening. It drifted down like webbing from above, one strand, then dozens, then hundreds. I stepped back, but my foot squished into something soft. I looked down. Teeth. The floor was now covered in small, baby-like teeth, perfectly arranged in tiny spirals, like a child's lost molars arranged by something obsessed with symmetry. One of them moved. It curled, like a pill bug, and clacked its jaws. The walls began to hum again, a low, guttural frequency that made my molars ache, the one still in my head. The hum turned into a voice. That same whisper. "You broke Rule 5. I screamed. I don't even remember deciding to. It just came out, involuntarily, a primal sound. I wanted out. I wanted to be back in the white room. Hell, I wanted to be broke again. Hungry again. Anything but this. That's when she entered. She didn't walk through a door. She didn't materialize. She just was, where she hadn't been before. A tall, emaciated woman in a nurse's uniform made of shadows, her face blurred like someone had dragged a thumb across a wet photo. Her limbs were too long, and she moved like she was being rewound. She dragged a long four-stand behind her, the bag filled with thick black liquid that sloshed and pulsed, like a heart in a plastic sack. She didn't look at me. She looked through me. Then she smiled, a wide, cracked smile that stretched far too long and didn't stop stretching. She whispered, "Let's fix what you ruined." The wall behind her split like skin parting around a wound, revealing a hallway. But not a hallway like in a hospital or office building. This one breathed. The walls pulsed with veins, and the floor was slick with mucus or blood, I couldn't tell. The air buzzed with flies that weren't there. She motioned me forward, still smiling. And behind her, At the end of the hallway, I saw it. A chair. But not like the one from before. This one was made of flesh. Bone-like struts. Sinew for cushions. Straps, not leather, but braided hair and tendons. I didn't move. So she took a step toward me. Then another. Each footfall sounded like skin tearing. I ran. I didn't know where. I just moved. The wall gave way, let me through, like it had been waiting. I sprinted into a different chamber, this one smaller, with mirrored walls that didn't reflect me. They reflected the room I'd just come from. Except in the reflection, I was already in the chair. Strapped in. Screaming. The nurse leaned over me, placing a long needle into my eye. I watched it push in, slow and deep. I watched my body spasm, watched my mouth open in a silent scream. But I wasn't in the chair. Not yet. The room I was in began to shrink. The walls closed in, silently, efficiently. The reflections began to overlap, merging into a kaleidoscope of torment, each showing a different version of me, each dying or losing something. In one, my teeth fell out endlessly. In another, I aged rapidly, screaming until my voice turned to dust. In the last one, I sat perfectly still, in the first white room, grinning like the twin that had entered before. Then everything went black. Not faded, snapped. Like a light bulb bursting. And I woke up in my car. It was parked outside my apartment. There was no email. No money in my account. But there was something in my mouth. I reached in. I pulled out a tooth. Not mine. Too small. Too smooth. Baby teeth. And I swear, every time I close my eyes now, I see that white clock, ticking. Only it's not on the wall anymore. It's inside me. And it's still ticking. And I think when it stops, they'll come back for me. I know that now. The waiting is the worst part. Every night since I left that place, I've heard the ticking. Not with my ears, no one else hears it, but in my teeth, in my bones, like an internal metronome counting down to something I can't stop. It's not regular anymore. Sometimes it races. Sometimes it skips. Sometimes it slows down so much I think it's over. And then it starts again, louder. It's inside me now, and it's counting something, but I don't know what. I haven't slept in 3 days. I don't think I can. Every time I start to drift, my mind throws me into that room again. Not the white one, not the gray one, but a new one. I don't know if it's memory or a dream, but I see the nurse. She's always standing beside me. Closer, this time. Her mouth is open, but it's not a mouth anymore, it's a tunnel, long and coiling, with tiny fingers wriggling out like insect legs. And then she starts to climb out of it. Not walk. Climb. Like she's exiting through her own mouth. I wake up before she finishes, every time, gasping, with blood trickling from my nose and something heavy pressing against my chest, like I've been held down. And there's the reflection. I started noticing it 2 nights ago. Every mirror, every window, every shiny surface, I don't see myself anymore. I see him. The one who walked into the white room that looked like me. Except now, he doesn't look like me at all. His eyes are wrong. His head twitches to the side every few seconds like it's being yanked on a string. But worst of all, he's closer every time. The first night, he was standing in the back of the room. Last night, he was pressed right up against the glass, smiling, hand raised like he was about to knock. I haven't looked at my bathroom mirror since. I covered it with a towel. It's still wet underneath. Something is breathing behind it. It's not just the reflections or the ticking. My house has changed. Doors that used to squeak don't anymore. Lights flicker in rhythm with the ticking. My dog won't come inside. He sits at the edge of the porch and growls at the hallway, the one that leads to my bedroom. Last night, I thought I heard a voice calling my name from under the bed. Not a whisper. Not a moan. Just a flat, dead tone, "Come back. You're still inside." When I turned on the lights, my bedroom door closed behind me on its own, not fast, not loud, just definite. Like it had made up its mind. I tried calling the number from the email, but it doesn't exist anymore. Not disconnected. It never existed. The email account is gone, too, no trace of it. The money vanished from my account the next day. Just gone. No transaction history. No explanation. It's like it was never real. But something followed me back. I know this now. This morning, I woke up to find lines scratched into my arm. Not deep. Not bleeding. Just shallow, Deliberate cuts. 6 lines, evenly spaced, burned into my skin. And when I touched them, I felt cold air, like they weren't on the surface but were actually openings. Like something was trying to mark its way back through me. I tried to leave town. I packed my car and drove 6 hours south with no destination. I didn't tell anyone. I turned off my phone. At the 4th hour, the sky changed. Not the weather, the sky. It went gray. Then white. Then familiar. The same color as the first room. No clouds. No sun. Just endless, blinding static. And the road began to stretch. Not visually. Literally. I watched my GPS glitch and my odometer spin in reverse. The highway ahead was perfectly straight, but the exit signs all started saying the same thing. White room ahead, remain calm. I turned around. It didn't matter. When I finally pulled over and opened the door, I was back in front of my house. Just like that. No transition. No turns. Just home. Except now there was a letter waiting for me on the porch. No envelope. Just a folded sheet of paper. It said, "You never left. You've been in room 3 since 3:33 a.m. And under that, the clock is almost done. Tonight, it's ticking slower. Every second feels like it takes 5. And I'm starting to feel things in my house move in time with it. My ceiling fans sway with the rhythm. The fridge hums in harmony. My own heartbeat has matched the tick. I can feel my body syncing with it, not because I want to, but because I have to. My skin doesn't sweat anymore. It leaks something thicker, clearer. I found a small tooth under my fingernail. The same kind I saw in the second room. I tried to scream, but no sound came out. My voice box isn't mine anymore. It belongs to the ticking. I think this was never about a job. Or money. Or rules. It was an invitation. And I accepted it. And now I'm being rewritten, from the inside out. One bone at a time. 1 second at a time. Until what walks around wearing my face isn't me anymore. Just like the version that smiled at me in the mirror. Just like the one who sat in the chair before I ever arrived. I hear footsteps above me now. They're slow. Measured. 1 every few seconds. They're getting closer. I can't move. I think I'm already back in the chair. I think I never left. I don't know who you are, if anyone's reading this. But if you find a job post offering a ridiculous amount of money for easy overnight work, don't go. There is no chair. There is no room. There is only the clock. And it just stopped ticking.